Have a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year. I don't know if there'll be snow.
But have a cup of cheer.
My nuts roasting on an open fire.
Jack Frost nipping.
My dick resting on your nose.
Oh my God. All right, so
And that's the intro.
all right, ready? Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
We are working class nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right. We are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, the real Thursday, December 23rd, 2021. And you can find this 134 podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and anywhere you can find a podcast in the galaxy far, far away. You can also watch me terribly fail at video games Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at twitch.tv/MarcusB814.
You can also watch me play video games every single Monday night at twitch.tv/NickVern51.
And you can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I'm at Nick Vern. That's NickVern. And in this week's episode, we're talking Spider-Man No Way Home with arguably the most important person in the creation of this show. That's right. Without him, I would cease to exist. This man shares 50% DNA with me and 25% DNA with Marcus. So without further ado, Stormin Norman, welcome to the show. And what have you been up to?
Oh, well, guess what, guys? And I'm not on Twitch. You can't find me anywhere there. But yes, I watch Nick's Twitch once in a while for about 10 minutes, and I enjoy the shit out of it. So it's all good. But yeah, it's been a busy week. Christmas week coming. We're just getting smoked at work and having a lot of fun, selling a lot of beef.
Yep.
So it's all good. Just busy. Can't wait for Christmas to come and enjoy it with the family and have a good time.
Yes.
A little bit of training at the gym, not as much as I'd like, but that's the nature of the beast when you're in retail. So
right.
That's where I'm at.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to our Christmas weekend. We have quite the lineup. We've got so if you didn't know, if you couldn't tell from the intro, Stormin Norman here is my father and Marcus's uncle. Our lineup this weekend is awesome. We've got the mom side of the family party tomorrow, which is Christmas Eve. Then we've got
That's the fun side of the family. Is that what you're saying?
No. I think the festivity is fun because of all the games we play. The setup is very frivolous. So we have lots of appetizers. We play different minute to win it style games with candy canes and stuff. And we have Yankee Swap, which is, that's normal stuff. And then the vibes are different though, right? I think the people are not necessarily as party fun type folks, but the activities make it fun. So it's a different vibe. And then Christmas morning, I'm waking up at the parents' house, which is great. I haven't done. Well, I did that before, but that'll be nice. And then going to see Marissa's family during the day. And then Sunday after Christmas, where we've got the dad side of the family at Marcus's house, which is going to be super duper fun. Everyone's loud and charismatic and outgoing, and that's all. We don't need party games to get the people going on that side of the family. Is that accurate to say?
I feel
like that's a good synopsis.
I just am thinking about appetizers, how they're probably the best way to eat, just because you can always just go up there and just grab a bunch of different shit.
Tapas.
Yeah,
Tapas.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you kind of eat as the party goes on too. There's
Yeah.
no set we're eating now time, which
But-
is kind of nice too, because then usually later during Christmas Day you have a formal dinner of
right.
some kind.
And I'm kind of lucky because there's one appetizer that I absolutely love that's a no-fly list for me by Carrie, because as soon as I eat it, it tastes delicious. But later that night, I destroy the bedroom.
with the farts.
Yeah, dude. She literally has to leave the room because it's so bad. And I feel
What is it? Deviled eggs?
No. Oh, those are my heaven. But fuck. Yeah, I don't know. Is sweet and sour kielbasa something?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's got oh my God.
Yes.
I
It's
can fucking devour it. Sits in a crock pot and the kielbasa turns purple from all whatever the sweet and sour shit in it is.
Yeah, it's like a little spicy too. It's like a sweet chili thing.
Yeah. Yep. And it's so good. But I end up eating like 2 whole kibasas myself, just not the long way all at once.
Not
Okay?
like you're used to.
Yes. It's still there. Anyway.
the penis statue is still there.
So if
Prick
you
on the
did
shelf,
not,
is that what we call that?
yeah. So if you did not watch the live episode and you didn't listen to our Christmas special, Nick got me a chia pet plant with a big dick and balls. It looks like a chia pet.
We should post that on the Discord, a photo of
You
it.
actually
should
should
probably
make it a chia pet. You gotta plant it. And let it grow like a 70s guy, you know, and the freaking porn guy when they don't shave their bush.
Wait.
Okay.
70s. It's 2021. Who the fuck shaves down there? I got buckwheat in a headlock down there, and I love it. Like my legs get tickled by my ball hair. Okay, I fucking love it.
That's not the ball hair that's tickling you. It's the bugs that are in there with them.
No, they get washed every day, but I like a nice
You wash
massive
your bugs.
bush.
Is that what the deal
I
is?
love the
The
bush.
bugs?
You know, I love a bush.
Not me.
My ball bush.
That's just terrible.
No way.
That's fucking scary. And,
Yeah.
I'm old. All
Yeah.
right.
Oh my god. I think it might run.
Thanks for that image, by the way. I just gotta like cleanse my eyeballs for a second with my Yule fuel here.
It was like, remember when we went camping and Uncle Jim dropped his drawers and like just messing around, dropped his drawers and was like pretending to pee off the rock, like way up in
Fucking
front of us.
Jumanji.
Basically, yeah. It was like me, my friend at the time, and I think it was, I don't know if Dimitri was there or not, but we were doing yard work up in our camper, and he was messing around and pulled his pants down,
Oh my God.
and it was terrible. The bush was as long, if not longer, than the Johnson.
I'm so
it
proud
took
of
him
him.
longer to tuck all the hair in so he didn't catch it in his zipper than it did to pull his pants down. It was brutal.
I'm so impressed. I'm so well done. That's so well done.
Oh, I think my friend goes, "Oh, it's like a midget jumping out of a bush."
I heard the drums in the background in the woods from fucking Jumanji.
But
Anyways.
just for the record, I do like the whole different family dynamic because it's the same shit in my house.
Yeah, I getcha.
My wife's family, they're great, but they're very reserved.
Yeah, they're not as like naturally
They're not Greek.
outgoing and charismatic.
They're not
and-
Greek.
Yeah.
We're loud.
Yeah.
All of us.
The decibel level is definitely
My
4 or
voice
5
is
higher.
shot, and I'm actually afraid for Sunday. If my voice isn't back by Sunday, I'm fucked. I won't be able to talk next week.
Do you have a humidifier?
It's not that. It's that all I do is talk.
Yeah, but that just means your vocal cords are dried out.
Yeah, my fucking vocal cords are shot balls.
You need to just get some moisture in there.
Stop shoving the chia pet so far down your throat. You
See,
won't have
that's
that
not the problem. That's not the problem.
Oh.
Because I
Good
would.
thing we mark all of our episodes as explicit.
What do you mean?
Like some of them we don't need to, but this
Yeah,
one
but
we do.
like I would say, like the past like 4
Have been
it's
like,
taken like that nasty turn where it's just gone.
I'm a meat guy. I'm sorry. I apologize.
oh, don't apologize.
Oh no!
This is
I
the
don't-
theme of the show.
Anyways, Nick, what have you been doing?
Nothing, because we recorded 2 days ago.
That is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's odd to record it back to back.
So the whole plan was we were going to record 2 this week, so then we didn't have to record next week. And then finding out that we did book a guest for next week, and he can't do the following couple weeks.
Yep.
So we're fucking forced to do an extra episode, which is great, but wasn't the plan.
It's fine. Next episode we can talk about Hawkeye. Or sorry, we can talk about
so good.
Oh, yes. Actually,
So-
I got to add that in.
All right. So, and next Wednesday, at noon.
Yeah.
I'm going bird hunting.
Really? Where?
At some bird
Thanks
club.
for the
in-
invite, Skippy.
No kidding.
He told me to invite you, and I just forgot until right now.
Who are you going with? Also, why are you putting headphones on that aren't connected to anything? Are you pretending to TJ right now?
Oh my god.
This is
Anyways, so
back at the ranch.
well, yeah. So recording 2 episodes in a week is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how Joe Rogan does it.
He does like 3 or 4 a week. Yeah, but don't forget he like doesn't work a normal job. You know what I mean?
Oh, that is his job.
Yeah. Well, that, and then he does like comedy at night or does like, workout classes, so it's not as crazy. But so I did actually do some stuff. So I'll talk about this first because I already mentioned it. The Hawkeye season finale was today, and that was epic. I know neither of you have seen it, so I don't want to spoil things, but it's really good.
When did it come out?
3 a.m. today. I watched it.
Oh,
on
then
my
yeah,
lunch
then
break.
I didn't see it because
Me
I've
either.
seen
I
them
was
all.
too busy watching Easter eggs.
Yesterday.
I've seen all of them except today.
Yeah. So it was or 3 a.m. yesterday, I should say, but I didn't get to watch it yesterday. I was running around doing Christmas stuff, but
Christmas.
yes, but it's awesome. We'll talk about that probably next episode, because I want to break it down a little bit. But it's awesome. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It ties together a lot of cool things, and I think it's like the most compelling action in the whole show. I think I have a bit of a gripe with the pacing. I feel like they shoved a lot of cool things into one episode that they could have done a little differently, but
I thought it was because Clint Barton only said he would do
6 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. But I also think, like, I don't know. I have my qualms with it, but I'll talk about it when we really break it down.
Break it down now.
It was like some things were really good and some things were they like missed their mark just a touch. But overall, it was epic. Also, I was able to play a little Horizon Zero Dawn on my lunch break yesterday, and I finished the.
You finished it, so it's time for a new
No,
game.
I didn't finish everything. I'm not playing story content not on stream. That's just rude. But I'm in the DLC, and I went back and did the cauldrons, which are like the little mini dungeons that you can do to let you like they call it overriding the machines, but like you take them over so they're friendly now. And each cauldron you do lets you like make friendly or override more like bigger and badder machines each time. So I did all those, but because I'm like, basically max level, and they top out at like level 30 and I'm level 55, I ran through them in like 2 minutes.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's cool. So now I can take over every normal enemy that I might come across. The DLC enemies, you don't get to do that for, because obviously they're more difficult, unless there's a cauldron in the DLC and I just haven't found it yet. But that's pretty awesome. And I collected almost all the trinkets too, but I'd done that before. So I got like all 3 of the DLC bows, which is cool.
So you got what? Another stream or 2 left of story?
I would say so, because I feel like I'm almost done with the story as it is.
Hey Nick, is that the game you play on Twitch?
Yes. Horizon Zero Dawn. Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So they just announced that Horizon Forbidden West,
The sequel.
Yep, is 96 gigs download.
Wow.
Yep. So it's a big game.
Holy crow!
That's not bad. There's been 96. I mean, this is ridiculous, but Call of Duty is out of control. But some of the updates for Call of Duty have been like in that ballpark, 100 gigs. And they granted those files get replaced, but like that game's like 200 gigabytes.
So how many terabytes do you guys have in your?
I only have 1.
6.
Yeah, you have a lot. I need. That's my next computer upgrade. Once I clear up all that, is getting more storage for it. I don't know if I should do a bigger SSD.
Yes.
Or can you?
You can get a 2 terabyte SSD for like $200.
Yeah, that's worth it. But can I do more than one SSD?
Yes. As long as you have the ports
for it. I don't know if I do.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
I've been inside your computer.
That's a little creepy when you word it like that.
Is that external?
Internal.
Yeah.
I was
Which
deep in
nice.
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
fist deep.
Oh, I was fucking fist deep and swearing. Fuck that computer.
It works great now, though.
I know it does.
The cable management was terrible, and I
So-
could barely shut the back panel.
Took a while to find it, huh?
Well, yeah. And I found out that the problem is your power supply that you had really wasn't enough power to power your everything.
Yeah, and then also was caked in dust.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, because it's on the floor. I need to address that.
I was actually thinking about that. I can make a shelf. Anyway, moving on.
But, that's all I got. Marcus, how's it going, and what have you been up to?
Well, all I did yesterday is I streamed for 3 hours, and the Garrison stream team came together, and we did a charity stream. It started at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
and every 2 hours, a different charity. Let me restart. A different streamer from the stream team would stream for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I started an hour early before my 10 o'clock block started. Our original goal was $2,000. We hit, by the time I ended my stream at midnight, we were at $1,830. And then it went all overnight. And this morning when I looked and somebody was streaming still, they were at I want to say almost $4,000, and I just looked right before we went live, and we're at $8,500.
No way.
So the charity is Games for Love. It's a charity. I'm going to call it Gazinga. Like, it's a foundation. But what they do is they buy consoles and video games for kids in hospitals. And it's a really good charity because a high percentage of the money goes to the kids. And it's a small, like 15% of the money goes to salaries, which you still need to have employees. You know what I mean? They still have to earn money. But, you know, when you look at the Red Cross on what you donate compared to what makes it to the people, it's like 3% makes it to the people because they're such a big company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hats off to the Garrison. It's fucking amazing.
Wow, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
All you people out there that did that. That's
and shout out to Matt.
Kids, congratulations.
Shout out to Matt. He asked what I was doing, and I told him I was doing a charity stream for the kids. He immediately signed into Twitch and donated.
You're going to touch on $10,000 for God's sakes if it keeps
going,
it's right?
No, it's going to hit. So we go until midnight tonight. We'll be really close.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, and then during my stream, so I donated immediately $100, like $100, and then somebody donated, like, gifted me $100 to PayPal, and I put that right into the dono. So I did $200 myself.
Yeah,
just as like, let's get them some games.
Yeah, get it going.
And Rick G, his daughter has leukemia, so I'm just thinking, so I'm like just thinking about her, like in a hospital, going through that, and imagine if she got a Nintendo Switch out of it,
right? And
just would be able to play a Nintendo Switch to get her mind off being sick.
Something
it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then obviously I have no stream on Saturday, which is Christmas, so I will be drinking beer and hanging out. And I'm pretty sure I'm looking forward to getting out of work tomorrow at noon. Ready for this? Know what I'm doing at work tomorrow?
What?
Assembling toys.
What do you mean? What kind of toys? Tools?
Santa toys.
I know what you got. You showed me.
So I got a kid grocery store. Got an easel. And I just found out today.
Yeah.
Of course. Remember I told you this the other night. I was like, what's going to happen? It's going to be the 11th fucking hour. And they're going to be like, oh, you forgot this thing to put together. And I'm like, I didn't forget. You didn't give it to me. They added another table, which please tell me where all this shit is going to go.
What are you talking about? What table?
It's a Lego table. It's like a table that like opens up and all the Legos get stored in it.
Well, that sounds awesome.
Yes.
Oh, they had those at like not daycares, but I think one of my classrooms as a kid, there was like a Lego table. You open it up and there's all the bricks in there.
Right. Exactly. So I have to do that in the shop.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah. So we're just going to go to the shop, drink coffee, maybe eat a muffin.
Perfect.
Just hang out. Because honestly, I don't know about you guys. I can't be home all day on Christmas Eve. I can't.
I get you.
Because like, I want to enjoy myself, and like my wife is going to be like cleaning the house. She'll be doing all the things, and like stay out of the way. I'm not here to be in your way, but I'll be in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I get you.
So I come home at noon, like 1:00, and I'm just going to say, what do you need done? And everything is done on my end. And then I just do it and fucking see you later. Come down here and
play games or whatever.
So can I give you should I give him my little house story?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Pull the microphone up like 2
don't
inches.
Come home.
There you go.
Yeah. So last weekend, you know, it was our turn to GI the house, clean it, this and that. Well, basically when we were cleaning, I was informed that once we're done cleaning, anyone that gets this house a mess, I'm gonna effing kill him.
Yep, sounds
so
like Mama
I walked
Mo.
away. I'm like, well, after a little while, I'm like, well, wait a minute. There's only the two of us in the house, so I guess I'm anyone.
Yeah.
It's your new pronoun.
So a little while
will
later, that's what
die.
I said, is that my new pronoun? Can I call that my pronoun? Is anyone a pronoun now? So does that me?
Almost.
All right, cool. See, I'm getting it.
So either way, it'll be fun. We have the families starting tomorrow, but from noon tomorrow or whenever I get home, unless there's an emergency thing,
Yeah.
I am not leaving until Monday.
Nice.
That I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, you're not leaving home.
But the problem is if I'm home, like, you know, those after Christmas sales that start, I'm going to fucking buy something.
Like
I know.
online, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see, 50% off this.
Newegg.com, 50% off.
Exactly.
Brand new monitor. And you're like,
no, what I'm getting we'll talk about my computer another day, but I bought a new pair of boots.
Yeah.
Because I got pair of boots got purchased for me and they had fur on it and I'm not
that was so wait. Let's rewind for a second. So you ever see shoes that are like dress shoes, but then have like the thick white sole because they're kind of
they look like duck shoes.
Hold on, I'm getting there. So it was like, you ever get like shoes that are like kind of formal, kind of not? They've got the thick white sole like skateboard shoes, but then they're like a formal shoe on top, so they're trying to be like a casual shoe.
Yeah,
it's casual.
You wear it with a suit.
Yeah, you can wear with a suit, or you can wear like business
suit.
casual.
Exactly.
Like I wear them to work all the time.
Yeah.
So, or I used to wear them to like out and about to the bars and stuff. But
when you're raging,
yes, AKA like
last week.
Yeah, I literally wore it last week. But anyways, so these boots, imagine like LL Bean boots that are like rubber with like the leather and stuff, and then they had the white strip on them on the bottom, like they were trying to be
white.
casual.
It was brown.
It was brown, okay, but it had the big thick strip on it, like it was trying to be like I'm a casual shoe, but I'm also a duck boot. And then at the top, they had fur on them. So
around
like
the top,
they were boots with the fur, like Uggs, kind of. It was fine until the fur. So Carrie, I come over for the podcast one night, and Carrie's like, "Oh, I got you these boots at Costco. Now, what do you think?" And Marcus was like, and I was like, "Well, they're pretty good, but the fur is where they draw the line." But they're only $25. But it was funny.
There's fucking fur on the shoe.
You want to borrow my Manscaped clipper on those?
No, I like a bush. Anyway,
we were over this before, remember?
Yes. Meanwhile,
back at the ranch.
So in SWTOR news, since Tuesday, there's been none.
Yeah,
they are on vacation.
Yes.
And what did we get for the 10th anniversary? Nothing.
Woo!
In AIE news,
Tuesdays are the place to be in AIE. Tuesdays are our fun open guild night called Mandatory Fun Night, where the fun is mandatory, but attendance is not. That is in Star Wars: The Old Republic, I should say. We have mandatory fun nights for every single game that we play, all different nights of the week. So don't forget, the fun is mandatory, but attendance is not. That's a weekly event that runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there if you want.
And every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, we do Master Mode Flashpoints with Mal to try to achieve the hardest difficulty of the Flashpoint to earn new mounts in the game.
Yeah, new fun stuff.
What happens Saturdays?
Well, it's not every Saturday. It's the fourth Saturday.
Yes.
Wait, do you know what happens on the fourth Saturday, Dad?
No.
Do you know what that sounds like? 4 Saturdays? It's a lot of Saturdays.
It's a lot of Saturdays. What is that?
That is Saturday.
Is that like Mega Saturday?
And it's Mega, the monthly Epic Guild activity, where we'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. It's Mega.
So
I did not shotgun a beer.
Is this a Marcus hunt where you're hunting birds? Is that a different?
So
No.
Here's the question. So this week is the 25th.
Okay.
It's Christmas. And next week is New Year's Day. So we'll probably do the Mega New Year's Day night.
Okay.
Because that's not the party night.
Yeah. No,
I'll be in bed
Eve.
at 10 o'clock.
New Year's Eve is the
No, I
party
won't
night.
be. I will ring in the new year playing something. I won't be. Not a chance. Anyways. So
What are you doing for Mega?
I have no idea yet.
Is it going to be a Marcus hunt?
No. It's going to be something. I just don't know.
Notes lied.
Well, it's because it was copy and pasted.
Oh, I see. I did that.
But, I don't really know. We'll probably do something mellow just because New Year 2022.
Yeah.
It's deuce.
Something.
2020 deuce.
Something like that.
The deuce.
Well, if all this sounds fun to you, go to ae-guild.org. Jump in the Discord, the link for which you can find in the top right-hand portion of the website, and ask for a guild invite. Whether or not we play Star Wars: The Old Republic or any of the other games that we play, we would love to have you.
I do not have to pee.
No, I don't either. We're moving and grooving. Stormin Norman, how you feeling?
Awesome.
All right, he's sleeping.
No, I'm not sleeping. I'm enjoying it. Fuel.
Oh my god. All right, can we talk about this movie?
What movie?
And we're back. So today we're talking Spider-Man No Way Home. We never left, but I wanted to do it like that anyways. So here's your spoiler warning. If you have not listened, or if you have not watched Spider-Man No Way Home, the newest Spider-Man movie, turn off the podcast, go watch the movie, and come back. Because we're gonna spoil the entire movie. We're gonna
Spoilers.
This is your spoiler warning.
Yeah, this is like the mega spoiler warning. Like, Matt, you're not going to be able to listen to this until like January 27th because that's when you're going to see the movie.
I thought it was January 3rd.
Danger, Will Robinson.
I thought it was January 31st.
Oh, maybe that's my birthday.
I know. And he was going to see it on your birthday, so that he could call you and only talk about Spider-Man and forget that it's your birthday.
Hopefully.
Shout out to Matt.
Hello, Matt. Hey,
Oh.
Matt.
Oh yeah,
Matt. We got to get together, man. We'll meet halfway.
something. I know.
Miss you, man.
So, first off, what are our initial impressions? What would you give it out of 10?
I'll let you go first.
So
Stormy.
I'll 3 criteria: initial impression, like a couple sentences, whatever. Score within, like, out of 10 within the scope of Marvel movies, and then overall movies in general. Well, we're getting fun fact, Marissa's also here, just not on the mic. She gives it a 10 with all 10 fingers, 5 on each hand.
I thought she had 6 fingers on each hand.
No, she is not a mutant, contrary to popular belief. So who's going first?
So I'll jump in. So for me, novice to all of this, I'll definitely give it a 9 for sure. I mean 10, whatever, 9. I'll give it a 9 because I was really pleasantly surprised at how well the movie was made. I really enjoyed how they put the whole thing together. It moved right along. I was really concerned to begin with that it was another Kevin Costner movie type thing at 2.5 hours or whatever that we were just going to
2 hours and 40
I
minute
thought it was
runtime.
going to be painful, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah.
But it was not. It was really enjoyable, and that's kind of why I'm sitting here today, because I enjoyed it a lot, and I enjoyed as a novice being at an opening night. It was a great experience to hear the energy in the theater,
Yeah.
and everything else. It was just really, really cool. So yes, and I am now sucked into learning more about the backstory and things, and watching all these other things that Nick, you've been telling me about.
Yeah.
To get, because there's so much more than just sitting there and watching the damn movie. I mean, there
Talking
is
about the
so
new
many
Rockstar's
little-
breakdowns.
Yeah, there's the
Just watching the other 2 movies with him in it will help you immensely.
Yeah, I did. I pre-watched that, so it set me up really well. But it really it pulled me in to want to know more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was really good. So I'm going to stop there.
Awesome. So 9 out of 10 overall. How about
Oh,
within?
yeah, easily.
Okay, got it. Marcus.
Initial impression walking into the theater.
Yep.
I was excited to watch it.
Yeah.
I had no idea what the plot was going to be and how they were going to end the movie.
Right.
So I was more eager on how they were going to end it rather than the start of it, because believe it or not, like, the trailers are great, but I fucking hate them because they basically spoil all the awesome points of the movie.
Yeah, especially because you and I watch the breakdowns that just dissect them so much.
But even more so, like, if I didn't watch a theater, like a trailer, I mean, it would have been such an amazing experience. Just like all of a sudden, all these villains show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or even, so like, I'll let you finish, but real quick for the trailer, because we watched so many breakdowns of it, and then like they dissected that, I think it was Brazilian trailer that had the shot of the lizard guy getting punched. So like we knew for sure essentially that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was going to be in it, and then if Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man's in it, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's going to be in it too. So like I kind of basically 95% knew they were going to be in it.
as soon as Doc Ock was there, I knew Toby was going to be in it.
Yeah.
Like I knew, because why would those villains come in but Spider-Man not be?
Right.
But
so like if you went in completely blind, I don't know how you could because there's marketing for this movies everywhere.
right.
But if you somehow went into that movie completely blind, that would have been an incredible surprise.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
You
That's
didn't-
me.
You didn't see the trailers?
I didn't. I barely.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to say is that
yeah.
it caught me being the novice, not doing the
Research like
gaming.
me.
Exactly. It was a really well done movie. And that's truly where I'm coming from. So
Right.
So
Marcus, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're good. So then my scores, if I take away the ending,
Okay.
I'll give it a 10.
Okay.
But with the ending, I'd give it like a 7.5.
It mattered that much to you?
It mattered a lot.
So when
Okay.
you say the ending, are you saying the ending of the movie or
Ending
with
of the
with
movie.
the
I just don't
after
like
the credit stuff?
No. The ending of the movie. I don't like how they had everybody forget Peter, because now Spider-Man is no longer a part of the MCU,
Yeah.
and I'm doing quotation marks. So that was their way of kicking him out of the MCU with all the rest of the superheroes, so he can go be with whack-ass Venom and awesome Matt Murdock and Daredevil.
Yeah, they're
You know what I
having
mean? Like-
their own separate.
Right. And like,
yeah.
you can hate me for all you want on Venom. I don't think that character transfers well from comic book to movie,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
I didn't like how all of a sudden that was the end.
Yeah, but can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
It's the forgetting spell, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but it's similar to it enchanted people's thoughts.
Speak
where
into the mic.
it enchanting people's thoughts where the reminders are really foggy, because there's a lot of reminders that could happen during the course of the movie. You saw that at the cemetery and everything else too. So it's similar to Harry Potter, where there was some of that going on too. And I don't know. I just think that there's some gray areas built in there where she still had the
Black Dahlia necklace.
Sure.
the broken, you know what I mean? They got
Yes.
into MIT, and he was looking to really bridge that and do what he promised her he was going to do. But then when he saw that they were happy and
Okay,
didn't want to
and-
mess with their life again. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
no,
just,
no. Yes.
I just think there's some gray area left there in the movie where I kind of like that, where there's it opens up a little window for them. It's not so absolute.
Right.
Well,
I
I
mean,
guess, but again, this is coming from the guy who knows the like that Tom Holland isn't coming when he comes back as Spider-Man. It's not a MCU Spider-Man. It'll be a Sony Spider-Man.
right. That's the dollars and cents reason why they did that.
Right.
I think the storytelling reason why is not that bad. Like, is it frustrating that they made a dollars and cents story decision? Yes, because that's the reason why
Sure.
his memory gets wiped. And there is comic backing for this. I don't remember where, but the new one, the breakdown talks about it from New Rockstars, and where there's a comic line where everybody forgets that Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
It's in the
Yes.
Century,
Yeah.
the Century comic. Actually.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was a great movie. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of my favorite Marvel movies. Still to this day, Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite Spider-Man. Actually, my favorite Marvel movie in total.
Yeah, I get that. For me, so man, scores wise is a 10 for MCU movies for sure. This
For sure.
This might be my favorite MCU movie.
100%.
It's either I really think I enjoyed this more than Infinity War, and that's probably my number one outside of that. That is
That's a tough one for me.
yeah, and it's like 1A and 1B. Because I think I liked Infinity War more than Endgame, but Endgame is a very close number 2. And I'd call this this Spider-Man No Way Home probably is like 1A, then Infinity War is 1B, if that makes sense.
What I really liked about Infinity War is that it was like the Empire Strikes Back,
where
where the
bad
dark
guys
side
did
won.
win. Well, I think that might be part of the reason why I did end up liking this. That's part of the point I was going to end up making is I don't like that the dollars and cents reason why they end up wiping everyone's memory that who Peter Parker is, because that kind of just sucks because that's the motivation. But narratively speaking, like there was real consequences to Peter's actions. And like every Spider-Man has a big tragedy. They lose somebody. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man loses Uncle Ben. That's his big turning point, right? And then he also loses Harry later in the trilogy. And like that's another tragic event that he has to wrestle with. Then of course Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man loses Gwen, and like that makes him completely changes his character, like that they talk about in the movie, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. I thought that was really cool too. But then also Tom Holland hasn't had that. He had a big loss with Tony Stark, of course, but he's still kind of the same guy. You know what I mean? Like he goes through loss and he mourns him, but that's not like completely character trait changing. You know what I mean? Like now he loses everybody. That's it, and it's because he made it a rash decision trying to change, because his life was inconvenient. He tried to change things, and there's consequences to your actions. And so this is how his big rough way of learning that. And he loses Aunt May in the process, and now nobody knows he's Spider-Man. Just a clean reset.
All right, well, let's get into the movie.
Yeah.
Because Aunt May dying is Aunt May's fault.
Okay.
It's not Spider-Man's fault.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Why is Aunt May like involved?
Well, because exactly.
It was at feast,
but she always is though. This goes back to the comics and everything. There was
Well,
no,
yeah,
no,
but
Uncle Ben usually dies. Not
Yeah,
like-
but-
Uncle Ben
yeah, but,
dies.
like,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
saying dies part, but she's always involved in
But
this.
she had to
That's true.
she had to get up in his business and be like, "You have to save them," and because of that, she did.
Yeah.
That fits her culture though.
Rip
It's
that
the
guy.
timing of the
Rip.
movie.
Yeah. All right. Let's go through the plot points. So I took the New Rockstars breakdown that goes through all the Easter eggs, and I tried to just make plot points for the movie, so we can rip through these fast and then just stop when we want to chat about something. So this movie starts off exactly where Spider-Man Far From Home ends. Picks up with everyone finding out through that Daily Bugle broadcast. That's Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and he killed Mysterio.
Who's Peter Spiker?
That's his evil twin.
That is the Yule Fuel twin.
Yes, exactly. If you couldn't tell, I should say, we are drinking Yule Fuel this evening, which is a local brew, brewed for Christmas, from Barrington Brewing Company.
Shout out to the Barrington Brewing
Company.
Brewery.
And
you guys have been doing this for years. I love you.
and it's like 9% alcohol, and it's like really
9
tasty
to
and
11
sweet.
could be
Not
11.
yeah,
Depends.
doesn't really say on the can. Depends on the
More of
batch.
a, barley wine.
Yeah, it's like a barley wine, but it's a tradition that we have these as a fam on Christmas time. So why not have it when we have the family podcast episode right before Christmas?
I think that Mysterio dying and them unmasking Spider-Man
Yeah,
was such an awesome way to end
that movie.
that movie.
Agreed.
Like, it just when
Completely,
you were
like,
leaving,
stabs
you get stabbed in the heart. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Because you start thinking about all the people that he knows and how it's going to affect their life, and then cut the movie. It's over.
Right. You got to wait years.
I was just
going
to say, but the thing is, by the end of that movie, you're like, that's an oh shit moment. Game of Thrones type of can't wait till next week.
Right.
And now this is like can't wait till when the hell are they going to make it again?
Right.
What comes next?
Right. Yeah. Had you seen that movie prior to like a couple weeks ago when you rewatched it?
No. Yes, I saw it once and then I rewatched it again.
Okay, got it.
My pea brain doesn't keep those brain cells alive, so I have to rewatch.
That's fair. So,
But I will say it is good to watch a movie twice
Ba-dum-bum.
yeah,
because the first time,
you're just like going along with the emotions, kind of.
yeah, like the first time I saw Rise of Skywalker versus the second time, it was a complete different
movie.
experience.
Yeah.
Me too.
I need to rewatch Rise of Skywalker because the second time, we had done some inebriating activities between the two showings, and I was a little sleepy.
Anyway,
Back at the ranch.
so
Everyone finds out. Did you want to talk about Mysterio still?
well, yeah. So Mysterio is dead,
Yes.
and really he was the villain, and he planned all of this out so that Peter.
It was his failsafe.
It was his failsafe to announce that Peter was, and everything that Mysterio did got piled onto Peter because he had all the Stark tech.
Right. And really, Mysterio took it over.
Right.
So obviously that happens. Peter's out with MJ when they find out on the billboard in Times Square or wherever. And Peter races home to tell Aunt May and Happy, who are in the middle of breaking up. I thought that was kind of funny. And then him and MJ swing in the window and all that fun stuff. They end up telling him. That's kind of a cool shot because it's all one take. I don't know if you noticed that. It's Peter swings in the window and Aunt May and Happy open the door to find Peter shirtless, and they think they're having sex. It's kind of funny.
And Aunt May broke up with Happy, and he's like a sad puppy dog.
Yeah, he's a sobbing mess.
It's kind of like how Nick will be when Marissa kicks him the fuck out.
Thanks a lot. Well,
Right.
anyways, I just thought it was cool that it was all one take, and then like they go over to the pan over to the living room.
Sorry, I had to. It's only because she's here.
Of course, that's wicked funny.
So at this little pause, can we talk about MJ a little bit just for a second?
Okay.
You can say whatever you
No,
want.
I think she did a great job. I really enjoyed her character. I thought she did a great job. in
Like the
whole-
actress?
Yes, I don't know her name, but
Zenaida.
What?
How do you say it, Marissa?
Zenaida.
Zendaya.
Oh, Zendaya.
Yeah.
I thought she did a great job, and I really enjoyed her character, and much more than the previous MJs that we saw before. I
A
thought
lot of them were like
I thought she added more to the movie than
just being like a damsel in
the
distress.
past, where they were just like what do they call them? Secondary actors or whatever. She actually, I thought she contributed really well, and even in the ending that Marcus you didn't like, I thought that was really cool when they were in that cafe where she was working, and
It was almost like
she showed like you could see that again goes back to what I was saying about that spell, where you recognize that there's something there, but it's you can't put your finger on what it is. It's almost like was this deja vu from a dream?
Right.
You know, there's a fog there that's going on where Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and I know this guy, but I don't know why or where or how.
Yeah.
There's that fog that's going on, and I think that's going to play further on that in the movies. I really do.
It would be cool if they brought her back and they end up organically sort of falling in love or getting together or something. I think that'd be cool if they explored that, and especially if she ends up like getting together with this like new mature Peter Parker that's not the sort of goofy high school kid. You know what I mean? Whenever we pick up Tom Holland Spider-Man again, I'm assuming we're going to, and it's a Sony movie, like I hope it's like a 5 years in the future type of deal. Almost like the character you pick up in Spider-Man PS4, which I know neither of you have played. But in Spider-Man PS4, it's an established Spider-Man that's Peter Parker. Almost like the beginning of Into the Spider-Verse. He's like been doing it for a long time. I think it would be cool to see that and see that interaction with MJ.
We're going to do this one more time. My name is Peter Parker. I was bit by a radioactive Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh, that's the intro to Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I was bit by a radioactive Spider-Man.
Spider.
I
You
thought
said
you said
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Oh,
I'm just wondering where this conversation's going. You got that dick on the back wall, and it just continues to go phallic.
I can't even see it. I can't even see it.
oh my god! You can adjust the mic to you, by the way, if you need to. You don't have to hunch over it. I feel
So-
like you're like,
Anyway,
I'm just leaning. I don't
well,
know. I'm new to this fucking.
either
shit.
way,
What do you-
so-
I'm just trying to help you be
so-
comfortable.
You want
Put
me
it.
to just
so
take it in my hand and
immediately-
start singing.
immediately,
You can too. Go ahead.
immediately when the show starts, they announce that Peter immediately looks on the street because that's where MJ is standing.
Yeah.
And everybody's crowding around her going, "Are you Spider-Man's girlfriend?" And he immediately got her the fuck out of there.
Yep.
And then he lands and somebody goes, "You're just a kid."
Yeah. Wait, he's
So-
just a kid? Yeah, because he talks.
Right.
And he's like, MJ, we gotta go. And they're like, wait a minute, he's just a kid? That actually, well, you guys have seen the same thing, but it's cool because it mirrors that
Andrew
scene.
Garfield.
No. Tobey Maguire. He has his mask off in a train or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
they're crowding over him going, wait a minute, he's just a kid.
Yes.
We gotta help him or something like that.
Yes.
So at some point somebody douses Peter in green paint on his way home, which I thought was cool. I don't know when that happens, but it leads to him getting a cool outfit later. He gets detained and questioned, and he says, wait a minute, I was just talking to Nick Fury, blah, blah, blah. He told me to do this, and he's like, Nick Fury's been off planet for more than a year. And it just confirms like the post-credit scene where like those are scrolls in Far From Home, which was pretty cool.
What do you mean?
The scroll, like, remember in the end credit scene of Far From Home, Nick Fury and that agent, I forgot her name. Those are scrolls. They're not actually Nick Fury the whole time in the movie. And then it shows Nick Fury and her up on some like planetary base, scroll base, like in the galaxy somewhere else. He's like relaxing.
Homecoming?
No, Far From Home.
The end credit scene?
Yes.
I don't know if I ever saw it.
Really? Yeah, they transform. They're right in the car together and like, well, that didn't quite go how we wanted it to. Just look up like Nick Fury scroll scene or something. Anyways, I'll keep reading. But so he gets detained and confirms that. Then can we have either of you? I know you haven't, Stormin Norman, but have either of you seen? Yes, this scene right here. We're pausing for a Jamie break.
Well, no. I'm just watching it. You can do it.
So we end up getting Charlie Cox playing Matt Murdock's Daredevil, and as Peter's lawyer when he gets back home, which is pretty cool.
Shout out to Marissa for helping me. Who the hell that was?
Well, I told her to tell you that, by the way, because like you see Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and the whole theater freaks out because it's opening night and it's all super nerds. You know what I mean? And my dad's sitting there going, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And so I whispered, it was my dad on the left, Marissa in the middle, then me.
Do you know who that is? I said, no.
And I was like, that's Daredevil. And then I looked at Dad's all confused. I go, just whispered to him, that's Daredevil. She's like, what devil? I'm like, Daredevil.
When she said Daredevil, cut the shit.
Yeah.
I knew Daredevil. I know who Daredevil is, damn
No,
it.
not you, her. I was making a joke. I was embellishing the story, okay? Anyways, I thought that was awesome. If you've seen Hawkeye through episode 5, you know that ties into some other things in that show as well. Marcus is now puzzled that he's watching the Nick Fury end credit scene in Spider-Man Far From Home. I think this is the second end credit scene or something like that.
I never saw this.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, see, he's on a scroll base.
Lost me.
So why is he on a scroll base?
He was on vacation.
On a scroll?
Yeah.
Huh. Anyway.
He was on vacation. He had some scrolls replace him to do his work.
Yeah. Well,
it's setting up the secret invasion show that's coming.
Oh.
Where Skrulls take over the planet.
But anyway, so Stormin, you need to watch the Daredevil series on Netflix. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like, it's really good. The Punisher was good too.
Punisher was good. Daredevil's really good. I liked season 2 of what's the super indestructible dude, big black guy. Oh, what the hell's his name? I don't remember. Well, that show was good, and Jessica Jones was really good. Season 1 of what the hell? This is gonna bother me.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying. I'm just saying,
Daredevil. You just gave him like 4 months worth of TV to watch.
Yeah,
like
because that's 3 seasons, right there.
Right. Daredevil is a good show to watch.
Yeah, Daredevil is great
because he's really like just a normal dude, and he's blind.
Yeah, and then he's got like crazy superpowers.
So anyway, so you get all that, and
Luke Cage,
Ben Affleck, and
see.
Jennifer or whatever, right?
No, Carmen Electra.
Anyway, so just Charlie Cox
plays Matt Murdock.
Yeah. So Matt Murdock basically tells Peter, they've got nothing on you. You're good.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But then they're like, Happy, you're going to need a really good lawyer.
And he's like, why?
He's like, why? And they're like, he's like, you just need a really good lawyer. I don't know if he was fucking with him or not.
But it seems like, since you're in charge of all this Stark tech, and this Stark tech is what killed everybody, you're definitely an accomplice to murder.
Right. And I personally, and I don't know if you actually talked about this. Did you talk about the brick?
No.
Okay, so the brick comes flying through the window, and that's how we find out that it's Matt Murdock. He catches the fucking brick. The crowd goes bananas.
Yeah, they knew, like, not only is Charlie Cox playing...
like a Patriots touchdown. I was like, wow, this place is engaged.
Well, you know what it does is, so, like, you see Charlie Cox playing a blind lawyer, right, with the circle of red glasses, right. But, like, you don't get confirmation that, like, hey, this is actually the Daredevil character that you know, until, because they could just be fucking with you and, like, cast that guy as a lawyer, right?
No, you didn't see his face.
No, you did.
You did not see his face until he caught it.
No, he catches it after the fact.
He does?
Yes. People
were you in
freaked
the same movie as us?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Were you
because
eating your popcorn at that moment?
he might have had his head in the trough that was the giant popcorn.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Holy Christ!
I fucking loved every minute of it.
But yeah, so we show his face, and then somebody throws like a "We trust Mysterio" brick.
No,
through the window.
Mysterio was right.
Or something like that, written on a brick and throws it through the window. And Charlie, Matt Murdock / Daredevil catches it without even looking at it. It was the window was behind him, and he just catches it one-handed as Peter's trying to catch it, which I thought was cool because like obviously Daredevil caught it, but then Peter was ready to catch it too, so they have a moment being like, "Whoa, we're both superheroes." You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which was cool, and I want to explore that more later, but.
So then they have to move from their apartment.
From Aunt May's apartment
Correct.
to Happy's apartment, which is kind of covert, which is really cool. There's all kinds of like technology. It's like a bachelor pad that I appreciated. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
So it shows like Peter and MJ and Ned all at high school with everyone knowing their Spider-Man stuff and some awkward interactions with the teachers, which I thought was cool.
And it's so crazy because I think that was the most glimpse in reality of how
a real superhero would be.
Well, and everybody has their phone always in their hand. Like in the world we live in, who doesn't have their phone in their hand? So Peter's going through and everybody
has their phone up,
having their phone out instead of just looking at. I know. Instead of just looking at Peter and be like, oh, damn, everybody is just like this, looking at him through their phones. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And it's just wild. The entire school is just like this.
Just
staring at their phones.
The audio people can't
walking.
see what you're doing.
Right. No, they're just walking through and I'm holding up my phone going across my screens.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes, that's true. That was terrible for the listeners. But anyway, but the shining moment of that was when they walked in and the principal, one of the teachers and the gym teacher.
Yeah.
Like the teacher that went with them to, was it Italy?
France or Italy or wherever.
Italy?
Yeah.
He was like, oh my God. And he made like this shrine to Peter.
It's weird.
And then
it's like a bunch of photos of him and MJ with the principal photoshopped in.
Right. And the coach was on the Mysterio side.
He's just talking shit.
Yeah. He's just talking shit the whole time. The principal's just trying to balance them both out. And it was just like, what would have happened when your principal found out that you were a superhero? Like how would that go?
Right. That's crazy.
Because it's public school. It's not like they can tell you can't come to school.
Right. It's just public school. Like, yeah, we're going to do the best we can to like not have people freak out, but
yeah,
you got to go to algebra.
Algebra.
I thought there was a cool Easter egg as he's walking in. So Flash Thompson's that friend that's like not really Peter's friend that tries to like be an influencer on all the social medias. And he's like, oh, we were best friends. Like, look at, and he's holding like, Peter, can you sign my Flashpoint book that's coming out next week? It's going to be a bestseller. And like Flashpoint is the name of the comic series for the Flash in DC universe.
Right.
Well, you know what else is cool too is he dyed his hair blonde like in the comic.
Yeah, Flash Thompson has blonde hair, right?
Yeah. He dyed it blonde.
That's cool.
And in a couple of the comics, Flash becomes Venom.
Right, which is cool too. So I thought the title of his book.
We'll talk about that at the end.
Yes, that's later. So the title of his book is Flashpoint. That's the comic line where the Flash goes back in time to try and stop his mom's death. I think that's what the motivation was.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up screwing up a whole bunch of stuff and meeting. It's got time travel, multiverse type stuff happens in that comic series where he meets a bunch of alternate versions of himself. So like that's a little bit of foreshadowing when you see the Flashpoint book for like what might happen later in this movie, which is cool. So then you end up seeing where it's a montage of them getting essentially rejected from every college they apply to, and their main college that they all want to go to is MIT, and that's the big point of conflict. They all really wanted to get into MIT, and every school says, hey, because of this Spider-Man stuff, we just can't have that negative publicity at our school, so we can't admit you, which is that sucks. So because of this, Peter's all sad, and he approaches Doctor Strange. He goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum.
And it's covered in snow.
Yeah, because like you see, although they're sorcerers, like they still screw things up. Which I thought this movie...
Oh, no. It wasn't covered in snow yet.
No, it was. They walked in and
yeah,
it was snow.
We walked in and it was
That
full
was
of snow.
after the spell.
No, that was right away. Already snow. 100%.
Okay.
Because they left a door open to one of the portals by accident, and then a blizzard came through. Anyways, but we find out that because of the Doctor Strange being gone for 5 years in the blip, Wong is now currently the Sorcerer Supreme, which is interesting because in WandaVision, we find out that, and I'm not going to spoil it because I know Marissa's going to watch it soon, but and I don't think, have you watched all of WandaVision? No. Well, anyways, we end up finding that by the end of that, Wanda is quote unquote even stronger now than the Sorcerer Supreme. So it's interesting, like, Wong is technically more sorcerer powerfulier. That was terribly worded. He's even stronger than Doctor Strange currently, right? And Wanda, by the end of WandaVision, is stronger than both of them. So, like, no wonder when we get to the Multiverse of Madness trailer that, like, Doctor Strange is asking for Wanda's help because he's clearly outclassed. So, like, I think of Doctor Strange as, like, this all-powerful being like, Sorcerer Supreme and running everything, and he's the most powerful like magic user, but like not really anymore. You know what I mean? You see like the blip made him not as strong or something like that in this. I think in this movie you see him like have flaws in his powers.
So I look at it a little bit differently because I remember back to the original Doctor Strange where, you know, he was an egotistical son of a bitch surgeon, who, you know, screwed up his hands and blah blah blah, and you know couldn't accept the reality of his new life and went down this road, whatever, blah blah blah, and became Doctor Strange,
right,
and all of that, and it just, to me, this just personified his ego,
right,
that he could do whatever the fuck he wanted to, and fuck
all the rules and what Wong says, and
exactly. Wong was telling to don't do this spell. Fuck you. I'm gonna do it anyway because you know what? I can because I'm fucking Doctor Strange.
Well, it's because it's the doctor mentality.
But see, the other piece of this, while we're talking about Doctor Strange real quick,
yeah,
my opinion is, you know, this is gonna spawn a whole nother segment of another series of shows, movies, whatever, all of that. That's just gonna really branch this out into a whole nother franchise as they go through the strange lifestyle, whatever.
Well, they have to, because the Avengers are gone.
Things up,
right? The Avengers are gone, so he is one of the core superheroes.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to explore that dramatically, and
they just laid that all out where he just fucked things up, and it's just going to. And then the trailer afterwards did the same thing. So showed a little bit of that. So.
I think there's multiple events, right, that screw up the multiverse. We've got Wanda doing stuff in WandaVision. We've got all the events of Loki that obviously very clearly screw it up royally. Then we have this movie where we have the spell that combines different universes. And what was the other thing? Not Hawkeye. There's one other thing that's screwed. Oh, in What If, stuff gets screwed up too, which is canon. So all kinds of. I think it's a cumulative effect that's gonna end up culminating in that Multiverse of Madness movie where all of this stuff is wicked screwed up.
And they seem to be, from what I could gather in my short life of jumping into this, is it seems like they're all running semi-parallel to themselves, so that there's going to be that interaction somewhere. I mean, anybody walking a different road changes that. It was pretty interesting how the multiverse is, how they look at the multiverse, and it just seems like all of this is going to branch into in some point it's going to interact or intersect down the road.
Yeah,
the way they're laying this thing out.
It's pretty cool.
So Peter says, I need your help. Yeah. And Doctor Strange is like, no,
I'm not doing it.
And he's like, bro, I'm ruining people's lives.
Yeah.
Ruining people's lives.
Yeah. Because they know me, and because everyone now knows that I am Spider-Man, all the people I care about's lives are ruined. So
he's like, okay, everybody's going to forget you. No problem. And then Peter's like, wait. Yeah.
And as Peter's talking,
the spell gets more and more messed up.
Yeah, like every time Doctor Strange is casting the spell, and as Peter's talking, he's altering the spell as he's by talking during it. So he screws it up, I think 5 or 6 times. And he's like, "Whoa, wait, add MJ. Well, wait, add Ned. Well, wait, add Aunt May. Wait, add Happy too. And just anybody that knew that I was Peter Parker before should know." I think the line is basically everyone who knew I was Spider-Man before should still know. And then boom, bam! Strange casts the spell, and it screws everything up. And he tries super hard to like reel it back in, and he encases the spell in like a little, I think it's pentagonal, a little sphere thingy. Okay, it's just a magic case. And then later,
A sphere.
a sphere.
No, it wasn't. It was. I
Like
think
the
you're
Mar-
closer with pentagonal.
Yeah,
Well,
it was.
it looked like a cube,
Like
actually.
12-sided. I think it was 12-sided.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Each little thing was 5
major
sides.
sides.
It was like a D20 in Dungeons and Dragons type of thing.
Yeah.
It was a magical one. If you watch What If, it's the same type of thing that he encased Super Ultron in at the
But
end.
at that point, you didn't know why the spell was cast
right.
in that box because
No, they didn't put it in the box till later. Remember, he first has it in like a little magic-y thing. It's like orange.
Oh yeah, well yes.
He just
And then
traps it
yes.
with magic.
Yep. So then so the spell is done. Peter,
He's just there,
and then he feels like he gets the Spidey tingle.
and he hears like, I think it's like a news report or like a police scanner that, oh, there's a monster attacking people on the Brooklyn Bridge or whatever, some bridge, right? So he
Right.
throws on the Iron Spider.
Oh no, that's wrong.
Oh.
So so Strange says, well, you never talked to anybody from MIT. So
Oh,
then he
right.
calls Flash and says, hey, where's the lady from
That's what
MIT?
happened. That's right.
And then so Peter's in a suit and he chases her down on the Brooklyn Bridge. That's where Doc Ock shows up.
Right.
And Doc Ock is still as twisted as he was in the Toby movies.
Right. Right before he died.
Right. And it works out because all of a sudden now Peter has to suit up
As Spider-Man.
as Spider-Man and fight Doc Ock, which Spider-Man is no match for Doc Ock.
Right.
He's never fought a villain like that.
Right.
And he got his ass whooped.
And then sure enough, Doc Ock's technology is compatible with the nanotechnology of the suit.
And he takes some of it.
Yeah, he like absorbs it, which like takes off a chunk of his chest plate, and then the spider suit moves. The Iron Spider suit moves to cover his head, his chest when he like hits him again, and leaves his face exposed. And that's when Doc Ock goes, "Wait a minute, you're not Peter Parker, or you're not the Peter Parker you know." And that's the first clue that I know, and that's the first clue we get for the sort of universe all combining shenanigans.
Well, one of the other Easter eggs I noticed in there too is that he had to. It seems like every Spider-Man movie, he's saving a car from going off a cliff or off
I know,
a bridge
I saw
or
that
whatever.
too.
You know what I mean? So the one car that's going to get knocked over is the director of admissions at MIT,
right?
that he was talking to,
right?
blah blah blah, and so he's getting his ass handed to him, and he's making sure that she doesn't fall 800 feet down into the ocean and drown and screw his friends, and locks up the car, and then saves her in the long run with the end of the movie. But it just seems like in every Spider-Man movie there's some kind of car that he's got to save going off a cliff.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I enjoyed that part because as soon as it was over and like things calmed down for a second, the administrator, when he told her to get out of there, said, "Thank you, you're a hero," because he saved her. And he saved all those people.
It like swayed her mind, her perception of him.
Yes.
Because of the Mysterio stuff. She's like, wait a minute, I just saw you defend people. Obviously, you're not a bad guy. You're a hero.
Right.
And she's like, I'm going to talk to the admissions people and get you and your friends' acceptance letters.
Which clearly happened by the end of the movie when the two of them got in.
Right. I think they had gotten in prior to that. I don't remember precisely. That's where a second watch comes in. But obviously, they got in on their own merit, right? Or something happened.
Don't know.
But
don't know.
So then they wrap things up, then Green Goblin's attacking the bridge.
The bomb. The bomb comes out.
Yeah, the bomb comes out. Ding 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 ding. It's a pumpkin bomb. And then right as that's happening, boom. Peter and Doc Ock get whisked away in a portal to the sanctum. The basement of the sanctum.
Right.
So Doctor Strange warps them all back and puts Doc Ock in a magic cage, and the lizard's already there in a magic cage. And like Doctor Strange is saying, hey, these anomalies have come through. Like something happened where when you fucked up the spell, these are people from different universes.
Right.
And I don't really know what's happening. And then eventually, I don't know how Ned got there. I don't remember that.
Well, so not yet. He's not there yet. Peter takes Ned and MJ there after the debacle at the apartment
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
to get him the fuck out of there and somewhere safe.
right. He brings him to the sanctum. It says,
Correct.
"Hey, can I just
And you
hide
need
these
to
guys?"
watch these.
Yeah. And then when Ned sees Doctor Strange use I forgot what they're called, the ring thingy,
Yeah, I don't know what that's
slip
called.
ring, I think, something like
Yeah.
that, where you use the rings to open a portal. Dad's like, oh, I wonder if like I'm magic. There's my Nana says there's magic in our family, and sometimes I get these tingly fingers in my feelings in my fingers. And Doctor Strange is like, yeah, shut up, kid. And then, sure enough, later that ends up being true. But
Right.
so Peter goes back out and finds, ends up being like, okay, there's more of these guys. Him and Doctor Strange talk it out. We got to go like wrangle them, you know?
Right.
So he ends up going to find Electro, and then when he's there, Sandman's there also. But I thought what was cool is because he didn't get a chance for Aunt May to get the green paint off his suit.
Right.
He's trying to get it off the whole time he's at the sanctum.
And
but
he turns it inside out.
So he just turns it inside out, and it's this cool like black with gold wiring all over it. It's pretty awesome.
But isn't that black from a comic book too? Didn't he have a black?
Well, he's had all the colors.
Yeah, he had a black
I
suit
thought
when he
had
was
a
Venom.
Black suit somewhere. Yeah, but in a comic book, I thought he had a.
Well, he did.
He did.
He's
You're a
had.
comic book guy.
Well,
You
yeah.
tell me.
Well, no, he definitely did. But this was more of. I don't think it might have been a tip the cap to an old comic, but it was more of I can't have the green paint all over me.
Right.
Yeah, the green paint shtick was probably a plot device to get him to wear that other suit as a nod to a comic suit,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But I thought
you would think a nano suit could get rid of it.
no, it was that's a different suit. Sorry,
okay.
He has his Stark Tech nano suit, which is now screwed up, right? Because he has to take that. He gets rid of that because that's keeping Doc Ock's arms at bay.
Oh, right.
Because it's I didn't mention that before, but yeah, the nanotech in the suit, when it fuses, the AI in the suit says, "Oh, would you like to control this new device? Like you added a new Bluetooth device?" And it's like, yes. And then stop all functions, and then you see like Peter moving his arms,
And that's how he
the
gets
arms.
away.
That's how he wrangles Doc Ock.
Right.
But anyways,
the
fast
interesting
forward,
part
that
about
suit is tied up.
So the Sandman,
Yeah.
it was really interesting that he was helping Spider-Man.
right, because I think I didn't notice, but again, New Rockstar saves the day. At the end of that third Spider-Man movie, Sandman and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man are on good terms. They're helping each other, and it's like beneficial. You know,
But doesn't he flip flop back and forth during the course of his career? In
yeah, he does.
these movies.
Well,
He does in
well,
that-
he's
Yeah,
a
if I
villain.
remember correctly, he's on your team, not on your team, on your team, not on your team.
Yeah, he's like, if I remember, he's super duper selfish. Essentially,
Yeah,
he's like,
he's
I
a
don't care about
villain.
anybody. I think he was a thief or something, and just trying to steal stuff to
He
find.
just wants to
fund
get home to his
daughter.
kid.
Right.
Yeah.
He's definitely a villain.
Yeah.
But in this, it started off with him being an ally.
Yeah.
And Electro was like just sucking the juice out of all the power grid. Yeah. And then, of course, Peter, pulls him down to stop him, captures them both. And then whatever support, Peter got from Sandman, that's clearly gone now because he captured him.
Yeah, he's like, whoa, what did you just do to him? And he's like,
right.
Sorry, here, I gotta do it to you too. Whoop, and then yeah,
Right.
Okay, can we talk about the device he uses? Because I thought that was cool. Doctor Strange gives him to capture these villains a gauntlet, if you like, a big old gold thing on
It's
his
like a
arm.
bracer.
Yeah, a bracer, and he will shoot this magic spell at them, and then that just warps them into a magic cage in the Sanctum Sanctorum's basement,
Right.
which was cool. But
and then so we get a little break,
we cut to
William
Dafoe as the Green Goblin.
right, in an alley talking to the mask like he did in the Tobey Maguire movies.
Yep.
And I'm just saying this now. There's a lot of awesome actors out there. William Dafoe might be the best.
Yeah, I agree. He's easily top 5.
William Dafoe I don't give a shit what movie I've seen him in, has been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
He just makes the movies that he's in. And even just his facial
Acting.
expressions in when he converted from
Goblin to
Norman
Osborn.
to the Goblin, you could see just all of a sudden the facial expression changed. The guy is magic.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, Marcus. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
I think
phenomenal.
we were talking about this after the movie. His facial acting in particular in this, like, it was obviously very good in the first movies, but now, like, in this movie, like, you already know the Green Goblin's an asshole and you hate him, right? He kills people. He's evil. He's terrible. And that when he's the Goblin, that's exactly how you feel. Like, when his face looks evil. Then when he's Norman Osborn, especially this version, you feel horrible for him.
You feel like he's a lost puppy.
Yeah, you feel so bad. You just want to help the guy. He's so remorseful. He hates that he has the Goblin in him. You know what I mean?
He went to Aunt May.
Yes.
Earlier in the movie, he went to Aunt May and said, "Help me! I need help."
That's coming up right now.
Just killing me.
Right. So you see him in the alleyway. He's arguing with the mask, and he ends up breaking the mask. But I think that's sort of symbolic that it's not really such a dichotomy, and now they're merged more. He's going to end up flip-flopping back and forth between him and the Goblin in one sort of mind. But so Feast, so that cuts to, you see him in the alley, then it cuts to Feast. So Feast, I forget what it stands for, but it's essentially the homeless outreach shelter that Aunt May and Peter run together. So but it's more than that. It's like an education center, and it's like a big community center. It's like a homeless shelter combined with the YMCA, combined with this big thing. And it's a big part of the comics, and it's huge in the video games. Yes, doing the YMCA dance. But it's like the hub for the video game Spider-Man. And I think that's cool that they finally showed it. So Norman Osborn ends up showing up to Feast looking for help, and seems just like a homeless guy. But he's got a green shirt with a purple shirt with a green jacket on that, like, obviously is Goblin themed colors. But he's super sad and remorseful, and like he's like, hey, like, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden I'm here and I don't remember things, and my building and the company I work for is not here. My house, someone else is living in my house. I can't find my son. Like, what is going on? And like, I'm just confused and I'm looking for help. And this is the first place I found. And Aunt May is like, you got to help him. And that's when the dialogue starts, that Peter's like, no, he's from another universe. This is from that thing that happened. And Aunt May is like, it doesn't matter where he's from. We help people that need help. And that's sort of the beginning of Peter's motivation to try and help the villains. But meanwhile, I think Peter captures him, bloops him into the Sanctorum's basement. And then that's when they start talking with Doctor Strange about, hey, what do we do with these people? So at this point, now Doctor Strange has built a magical box around the outside of that sort of magical shell that he captured the spell in. And this magical box is gonna, once you press the button on it, you'll send everybody back, all the villains back to their original timelines where they're gonna die. And through the course of this conversation, Doctor Strange explains, hey, the reason they're here is because all these people knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, and all of these people died at the hand of Spider-Man. Apparently, that's who got leaked through first. And so that creates a giant conflict with Peter and MJ and Ned, and they're like, Peter's like, man, I don't want to kill him. Like, maybe I can help him. Doctor Strange is like, no, screw him. Just send him back. Reverse everything. We'll be fine. And that cues a wicked cool fight scene for me between Doctor Strange and Peter and Spider-Man. So he's grabs the box from him, runs outside, and then Doctor Strange, and they have some fun with like the portals where Spider-Man ends up like accidentally like webbing his own foot, like, because Doctor Strange opened a portal in front of him. Then he ends up like casting him out his like astro projection, and Peter's real body is still holding the box, and his real body's moving the box around without Peter's soul being in it. And Doctor Strange is like, how are you even doing this? And I think that's a Spidey sense, is like in his body.
Yeah, he knows it's going to happen, so he can do it wherever he is.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought was really cool. And then they go into the mirror dimension, and like there's some crazy CGI for all the landscapes changing and stuff, and them fighting and talking about like the ethics of what they're gonna what either side. Then you've got Peter figures it out, and he's like, wait a minute, this is just geometry, all these mirrors and stuff. So he ends up like figuring out where Doctor Strange is going to be next, casts a bunch of webs, and like locks him in place. Steals the box, grabs the ring. I don't know how he opened a portal, but he just
did it.
He just opened a portal and
he was out.
And left Doctor Strange like in some weird spot.
Right.
Then Peter blah, 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 blah. So then the villains offered, so he goes back to the Sanctum Sanctorum where all the villains are. They try to help. He's like, wants to help them, obviously. And he's talking them through what happened. And they offer, Norman Osborn's like, hey, I used to be a scientist. References the meme line. I used to be a bit of a scientist myself. And they all want to go help fix each other. So they go to Happy's apartment to do that, naturally. Doc Ock gets fixed first. All the other villains are kind of, Electro's a little bit definitely weary of losing his powers. Sandman's weary of it, the whole thing. And as like people are getting fixed, or they're prepping the devices to fix them, everyone's getting a little bit less willing to do so. Then of course Doc Ock gets fixed first, and he, the tentacles are not controlling him anymore. He's controlling them. He's back to the nice Otto Octavius that they know from before, who used to work with Osborn. He goes, hey, something to the effect of like, hey, to Osborn, are you pumped for it to just be you in their head finally? And you hear just me in like the goblin voice, and boom, right. You have like, it's like, I don't know how long it is, but it's like almost a full minute or minute and a half of Peter walking through Happy's apartment with his spidey senses on full alert. Like he knows that the goblin just took over, and it's. I thought that was really cool, that whole interaction, because it lasts so long, and you just see it's zoomed in on Peter's face, like walking around, trying desperately to figure out where the danger is, and he's just like suspicious of everything. And for some reason, he knew that Aunt May was in danger. He was like, May, like, get out of here, or something like that. And then, sure enough, he figures it out, and boom, shoots a web at Osborn and pins him to the mechanical arm thing. And that's when
all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, he explains, yep, these are curses, not gifts. We shouldn't be doing this. We're losing our powers. And this giant epic fight breaks out between him and Green Goblin, and everybody starts fighting. There's a fabrication station that's Stark technology in Happy's apartment. That's how they're making the devices. Electro grabs the power source in that, which is like I forgot what they're called, the liqueurs for Iron Man, in his chest. He grabs that and just like makes his own suit to like channel electricity. Sandman pieces out and gets out of there. The only one who stays and helps out is Doc Ock, but then of course Green Goblin and Spider-Man are fighting and just absolutely destroying that whole apartment building that Happy's in, which is like the 30 Rock area where there's the big old Christmas tree and ice skating rink in New York City. Then finally at the end of things, May ends up getting hit by Goblin's glider and gets taken out, and then she is like super duper wounded. There's this extremely emotional scene where May dies. Yes.
Right? Aunt May's fucking dead. And you knew it, but like once
you didn't know it, like right. She was like trying not to, she's put on she gets hit by the glider and a bomb explodes, right? Then right. They both kind of get up and are talking to each other, and she's trying to be reassuring to Peter, and then all of a sudden she collapses and he realizes she's like profusely bleeding, right? And it's like, it goes from like, oh, maybe it's going to be okay to, oh no, Peter's the superhero and she's a human. So like, obviously she got screwed up from that. And she dies in his hands.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So for me, I was like, okay, this is the pain. So, right. In all the movies and always the Marvel movies, there's always a pain.
Yeah.
May dying was going to send Peter Parker over the edge and beep,
right.
And it sure did. So Happy pulls up in his car in front of the apartment complex building and starts screaming to Spider-Man Peter, run, because these guys are going to kill you.
Right. They're going to
And they just started shooting
everywhere inside the building.
everywhere inside the building. And I'm pretty sure he got shot.
Peter? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he got winged. Yeah.
And
Yes.
And so he gets shot and he runs and he goes and hides. And Doctor Strange is like, we have to find him.
Right. We can't not find him.
Like, where would he be? And where is he?
Right. So meanwhile, I forgot to add this in, but whilst Peter is trying to help the villains, MJ and Ned have the box, the emergency kill switch to send them all back to their universes. And he's like, hey, if you don't hear from me, just hit the button, because I'm going to try and help these guys. But if they start fighting me, just hit the button and send them back. So Ned and MJ are not there. They don't hear from Peter. MJ is ready to hit the button. And Ned goes, you know what? Let me just try to find Peter to talk to him. So they have the slip ring from Doctor Strange, and Ned tries to open a portal. And if he's successful, of course, he's like, I want to find Peter. I want to find Peter. I want to find Peter. And boom, he opens a portal.
And there's Spider-Man.
They're like, oh, it's Peter. And he walks through the portal, takes the mask off, and it's not Tom Holland, it's Andrew Garfield.
And this is where a premiere night is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it stinks a little bit because, like, I missed that dialogue of what was said.
At like the first 30 seconds of him.
Yes,
interacting
because
with them.
people were going bananas.
Yeah. But the energy is really cool, though.
Oh, no, it's amazing. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, I missed that one part.
Yeah. And same thing.
Is it just me, or does he need a good haircut?
That's who he is.
Yeah, I think they were trying to show him being disheveled on purpose because of his, when they talk about like what he's been through.
He lost MJ, right?
No, Gwen for him, but yes, Gwen Stacy.
Sorry.
That's okay. But I mean, that's his romantic interest. It's a different, in the Amazing Spider-Man comic line, Gwen Stacy is his romantic interest.
So Andrew Garfield's here. So you're like, okay, where's
Toby?
Where's Toby? So then they use the
Ned
circle
tries
again.
it again.
Yep.
He's like, all right, let me try this again, see if I can get our Peter.
And then Toby walks in.
Toby Maguire walks
like
in
street clothes.
Yeah. What do they call him? Are you a youth pastor?
Yes.
But he walks in. They have some interactions. They're doing Spider-Man things. They shoot webs at each other and realizes they're both Spider-Man. Then they end up going like, okay, here's the sitch. Our version of Spider-Man is mopey. He screwed up. We got to go find him. Is there some place we can find him?
Right. But before that, MJ is like, prove to me you're Spider-Man, crawl on the ceiling.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
And he's like, he jumped up and he was like holding on by one finger. He's like, this enough? She's like, no, you need to crawl.
He's like, all right, fine.
Yes.
I think it was Ned's like grandma was like, can you get the cobwebs while you're up there?
Yeah, exactly.
So he crawls across the ceiling and gets the cobwebs.
Yeah, she speaks in whatever language she speaks in.
I don't remember if it was.
But then as soon as she's done talking, she says, oh, thank you so much. So she just didn't want them to know that she was asking them to get a cobweb.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But, so then they
go find Tom Holland Spider-Man
sitting on top of the school.
Grieving Aunt May
and he
looked
looked
school.
Terrible.
He's
terrible.
All chewed up. He's got ash on his face.
Yeah, and he's got that like, I've been crying like my girlfriend broke up with me. Tears in his eyes.
My dog died.
Yeah,
I
like
got
all
kicked
that
in the
worse
dick.
stuff. Yes. And
all the above.
Yeah.
And he just looked horrible.
And I was just like, at that point, I was like, man, the pain.
I felt really bad for him. I thought, can I just, quick sidebar? Why are you miming over there?
I don't know what he's miming.
I don't. He's got his microphone set up for like a 2 foot tall person.
That's all right. Whatever.
He's got to hunch over to talk. Anyways, so I was gonna say they did a really good job of. I thought a lot of the shots of like lingering on his face and like lingering on like the close up shots in this movie were just really cool. I thought a lot of the cinematography was like extra artsy in this movie compared to a regular Marvel movie, if that makes sense. Like that shot of Tom Holland, like super being mournful on top of the school was wicked awesome. There's a shot later that's more like romantic-y of him and MJ.
Well, yeah.
There's like shot the close up of him with the Spidey senses tingling twice. Once when Doctor Strange does the astral projection thing, and it shows just his face. You can see the aura, almost like the animation of the squiggly lines in the comic books. And then also later, in the room in Happy's apartment, when the goblin changes over and he's like walking through, you've got like that same sort of effect happening as he's walking through. I thought that all of those were just really cool. There's a lot of cool close-up shots, a lot of good facial acting from William Dafoe and Tom Holland there. In different spots, but
what I like
anyway.
about the meetup on top of the school is that's where Tom Holland realizes that all Spider-Men
go through
something.
Yeah. Go through pain.
Yeah. And this is how you push forward.
Yeah.
Because this is what you do.
He loses Aunt May. Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man lost Uncle Ben, and then also, his best friend, Harry.
Right, yeah.
And then Andrew Garfield obviously loses Gwen really tragically.
But I think one of the other things that I got out of it was watching the maturity of this Tom Holland's Spider-Man from Endgames, and that whole, hey, Iron Man, is this good? Is this what I should do? To now going into this one and getting his ass handed to him, having loss, having to deal with that, and going through it. It's going to be interesting what his character looks like in the future, because you mentioned earlier that high school kid, getting his ass handed to him, and what it is really life.
Right,
it's life happening to him as it goes along, and that happens to people at different times in their lives, and you're forced into maturity. Right. You're forced into that. You making that a giant step, not just a gradual maturity into your life. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with his character moving forward. I think it's going to be a lot more intricate to see what he does.
I agree. I thought that was really cool. That whole interaction was awesome. Like piggybacking off of what you're saying, because you have these two different avenues of like how his life could go, right? You've got Tobey Maguire Spider-Man that had like fairly, not gradual, but incremental maturing required, right? He's a nerd. He loses Uncle Ben. He learns as he's learning how to fight and be Spider-Man, and he gets humbled, like, you know what I mean? In that interaction, and knows like Uncle Ben gives him with great power comes great responsibility. He becomes like he needs to be noble. Then he has this horrible thing with Harry happen, and he's sort of figuring it out with MJ by the end of things, right? Then, like, Andrew Garfield, he's got all these powers, he's wicked smart, all the above. Then he's, like, somewhat arrogantly loses Gwen Stacy, and, like, because he shoots his webs instead of going down to grab her. And the whiplash of the web breaks her back and kills her. So, like, after he doesn't deal with that well, there's a cool line, I think, he talks about how he stopped pulling his punches, and I think that's basically alluding to him like fucking killing a bunch of bad guys, which is not Spider-Man's thing. Spider-Man in the comics and the video games doesn't kill anybody. He doesn't punches people to knock them out, but not enough to kill anybody. You know what I mean?
His character just seems like a tortured soul.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's part of what you were referencing before, how he needs a haircut. He's supposed to look disheveled. He's a loner. He doesn't have friends and support. You know what I mean? He doesn't have his feast to go back on as like a noble cause. He's just out there being friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that's not so friendly anymore because he has no reason to be friendly. He doesn't have an MJ. He doesn't have a Baruch. You know what I mean? And he's just like mournful and bitter and terrible. So you almost have like the angel and the devil giving him advice. Not literally, but like, hey, don't be like me. Don't get so jaded that don't become me. You know what I mean? And then Tobey Maguire's going, I've been where you are, and you don't have to be like that. You know what I mean?
One of the most cathartic pieces of the movie was when Andrew Garfield rescued MJ.
Exactly. I fucking loved that.
It was like
the exact same setup.
He looked down and he saw that Tom
Holland
was fucked up, and there's no way. And he went and boom, and he saved her.
Right.
Well, I think
you could see the look in his face was just like
oh,
well,
redemptive.
I think redemption, the whole Statue of Liberty scene was redemption for all of the characters.
Right.
Villains and the Spider-Men.
Yeah.
Right. And each person got their little moment.
Right.
And, where Toby stops Peter, Tom Holland Peter, from killing Goblin.
Right. Do you want to just run through the Statue of Liberty things?
Yeah.
Basically, the end of... So, to go through the plot points, they have this conversation where they all bond over their losses, right? With great power comes great responsibility. They realize that every one of them have heard that, and they bond over that as well. Then the three of them go, okay, we need to set these villains back.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
Let's go. We're all smart as fuck. Let's go to the... They end up going to, the high school lab and making these devices to
and
heal
web
all the
shooters.
villains. And web shooters.
Except for Toby, because he grows in them.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of comedy talking about how the hell does that work?
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's like, it just comes out of you? Where do you make it? It's like, I don't know. I don't even think about it.
What other holes does it come out of?
Exactly. That was funny. So, they set up at the new Statue of Liberty, which, I don't really care that it was redone and copper-colored, and, it was supposed to be holding Captain America's shield.
Captain America.
I don't know. The new Rockstars guys made a big deal about that. It was kind of meh, whatever. I don't really give a shit.
Well, I think it's because they were, it's a big deal because they're really tipping their cap to Captain America.
Yeah,
saying that he basically saved the fucking world.
Yeah, I get you. So they were adding the Captain America shield to the
they have a
Statue of Liberty.
fucking musical named Rogers.
Yeah. I don't really like musicals, so it's meh. But anyway, so as they're prepped, they have their devices hidden all over the scaffolding around the Statue of Liberty because it's under construction still. They're talking about how they all encountered aliens. Tobey Maguire encountered Venom. Tom Holland encountered Thanos, and then poor tortured soul Andrew Garfield Spider-Man's I haven't encountered any aliens. I just had a Russian guy in a rhino suit. You know what I mean? So then they make a joke oh dude, you're amazing. You're really amazing. Don't let it get to you. You're amazing because he's the amazing Spider-Man. I chuckled. Then they all the villains show up finally. I forget, they did something some kind of news broadcast to lure them in. The villains show up and they all get their asses kicked. It's stormy around them. They hide in I don't even know how they were hiding, but it was a dust cloud or something. And they were
it was Sandman.
They're guys, we fucking suck. And Tom Holland's yeah, because we're not working together, you fucking idiots.
Well, it's because they're alone.
Yeah, that's the character growth point that you were talking about earlier, Dad. You were
yes, exactly.
You're hey, he goes from high school kid, he has this Aunt May loss, he has some growth, and he's okay, I gotta fucking do this shit. It's I can't be the member of the team leaning on Iron Man anymore. I gotta be the fucking leader. He's guys, this is what we gotta do. We gotta work as a team. All of us suck because we're used to working by ourselves. It's we're not by ourselves anymore. Here's how you work as a team. And then they start kicking ass, which is awesome. So they end up doing all kinds of crazy action stuff. Each of them, Sandman gets changed out of the sand. The lizard guy gets converted back to a guy. Then Electro gets the suit the power source taken off of him. And I thought there was a cool setup for Miles Morales there, where Jamie Foxx's Electro goes, "Hey," Andrew Garfield converts him back, and he's "Oh, man." I was I thought there's got to be. You're another white guy. There's got to be a black Spider-Man somewhere. Da-na-na-na, which is setting up Miles Morales. Obviously.
He fucking better come.
I really wanted to see Miles Morales as an end credit scene. Just some reference to him. They referenced him in The Amazing Spider-Man already. I don't remember. There was some scene where I forgot how it happens, but the dude who's Childish Gambino, what's his real name? Something Glover. Not Danny Glover.
Donald
Glover. He was calling. He's yeah, man, I don't want any of this crazy shit in my neighborhood. And he's he goes, "Sorry, Miles, I'm not gonna make it home tonight," or something like that.
Right.
Referencing that's Miles Morales' nephew or uncle.
Right.
But so anywho,
that has to happen though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah,
really, it's got to happen.
See, that's
going to.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to have maybe one or two. I can't imagine they do a whole nother trilogy. Sony now, because I think Sony's going to take the wheel with Spider-Man now. That's kind of the whole point of this film, is to get Tom Holland eventually back into Sony land rather than the MCU per se. So they're going to take Tom Holland to do at least one movie. I think probably the end of that movie, he's going to like hand off the reins to a Miles Morales character. And he'll take over as Spider-Man. 'Cause that's how it goes anyways. Peter Parker hands it down to Miles Morales. But
Right.
who is like half something Spanish and then half black. I don't remember his precise ethnic background.
He's half Spanish, half black.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Wicked cool character.
Well, he's gonna be. So there's gonna be 2 movies of the Spider-Verse, part 1 and part 2.
yeah.
After that, I would imagine that they're going to make a Miles movie.
Yeah. Or it's just Miles.
Right.
But
in my just so you know, my issue number 1 of Miles Morales, the first ever, is up to like $1,500 for the comic.
dude, it's only going to go up. Keep hanging on to it. Is it rated pretty good?
Yeah, it's a 9.4.
Holy shit.
Bro, they all just sit there. Anyway.
Wow.
But for me, at this point, the whole scene of the Statue of Liberty is happening, and they start like saving people.
Yeah.
And then they save the Sandman. And he comes back, and you can almost see it in his eyes like,
I'm done with this.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm a person again.
Right.
Because even Jamie Foxx kind of was the same way once he came back.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jamie Foxx,
yeah,
I really like the way they morphed the character. That's more like Jamie Foxx. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was weird to have him
was
so
cool.
darky.
It was just, don't have the comb over Jamie Foxx. That just didn't fit in earlier
in the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
yeah.
Know what I mean, I really liked. I thought he was badass. I thought that was pretty cool. So just sidebar.
Totally
sorry.
agree. Jamie Foxx is badass.
He is absolutely badass.
And
I
he's,
love that.
Yeah, like,
and then you know what else? He was real too, because he's like, no, I don't want to go back to who I was before. I don't want to go back to being just regular guy, because I wasn't anybody.
Right. Now
So
I've got all this
I
power.
get it. Now I got. I'm like sucking up all this energy, and he didn't have that fucked up look to him. You know what I mean? Where he did in the other movie, where he had to wear the hoodies and all that stuff to hide what happened to him. You know, it's just he was badass, and I just thought that was a better. It fit what we know Jamie Foxx to be. You know what I mean? It's just I like that. That was pretty cool.
I feel like it fits the character better too.
Yeah,
you know?
It's just me. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I liked it.
I do too.
Speaking of fitting, I think it was really fitting how Ned was this Mr. Open Portal guy, but then in order to tie him into the final fight scene, he couldn't close the portal.
Right. That was cool. So I didn't talk about that. What was the point of that? The box?
The box. So they had the box in the Sanctorum
in the basement,
and they opened up the portal to see what was happening, and he couldn't close it.
Right. So that lets the lizard guy get in there and like destroy the basement and stuff.
Right. And then that got MJ and Ned onto the Statue of Liberty.
MJ falling.
Right.
Oh no, MJ falls right after.
Right.
So anyways, they take care of all the villains except for Goblin, who's not there yet. So then MJ's up on the top of the scaffolding for something to do with the box. I forget.
Mr. Badass.
Who? Green Goblin?
Goblin, yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So then he comes in, of course, like a bat out of hell on his glider and drops a bunch of bombs all over the Statue of Liberty, all over the scaffolding. And, of course, one of the bombs gets inside of the box that the spell is in. Like the magic box to reset everything and Doctor Strange doesn't notice in time before it blows up. And boom, this giant explosion knocks MJ off the top of the scaffolding and she's falling. So Tom Holland Spider-Man dives off. We chatted about this already, but still dives off after her. Similar setup to Andrew Garfield's. He's gonna get her. He's like a foot away from her hand, and boom, Goblin takes him out on the glider. He gets swiped away. Andrew Garfield's lower on the scaffolding, sees it, recognizes the same thing, and then jumps as hard as he can off the scaffolding to just dive at her.
Right.
Rather than kind of half-ass do it and shoot his webs like he did before, he learns, gets to MJ, lands safely, and then like bursts into tears essentially. And she's like, thanks. And he's just like,
and the crowd erupts.
Yeah,
oh my god, yeah, that was insane.
The whole theater
the theater went insane.
Yeah, erupted because they know how much it means to him. You know,
as a newbie, guys, I got to tell you, it took me till the next day to really digest all of that was going on, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
Would you do another premiere?
Absolutely, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I like premieres.
Heartbeat.
Well, I like it because there's
It
no
would
chance
just be
of being
better
spoiled.
prepared, I guess. And that's
Yeah.
So
I just would not. I can't stay off social media in that sense that I will get spoiled.
Yeah, I big thing. Movies are really important to me, like this one in Multiverse of Madness. Same thing. That's a premiere movie for me too. I really, excuse me, I don't like. For the spoilers is why I'm like really emphasize going that first day. If it comes out on a Friday, like the early Thursday night, like we did showings.
Yeah,
just to avoid spoilers because I hate that.
Everything that you guys digest. I mean, you get into this way more before I did. I'm just Nick. You coming in yesterday and telling me to watch
the breakdown.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit! There is so much more to this that I'm just going to the movie theater, eating popcorn and watching a movie, saying that was great.
Right.
There's so much more going on that I need to learn, and it's fun.
Yeah, it's wicked fun.
Yeah, you're sucking me into this. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Awesome. So then, cut to MJ is saved. Tom Holland and Goblin are on Captain America's, statue copper shield, which is now on the ground from the explosions, and have a vicious hand fight. Like, Peter is not pulling his punches. Peter is where Andrew Garfield's head is after post Gwen Stacy. Like, hates Goblin for killing May and wants nothing more than to kill him. And you can tell by the way they're fighting. He is absolutely trying to take his head off and beats the shit out of Green Goblin.
Embrace the dark side.
He does. Full dark side. I was like, yes, dark side Peter.
MMA.
Right, MMA style. Just like literally trying to kill him. Then at the end, he beats the shit out of Goblin, picks up Goblin's glider, and it's like ready to stab him with it. And then Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, steps in and grabs the glider. And even when Toby steps in and grabs it, Tom Holland still tries to like stab the Goblin through Tobey Maguire, and Toby pushes back like, dude, you can't do this. This is not the way.
This is not the way.
This is not the way. You got to be better than me and Andrew Garfield. And
anti-Mandalorian.
Right. Yes. Anti-Mandalorian. And Goblin ends up stabbing Tobey Maguire, and then Peter drops the glider and ends up fighting him again and stabs Goblin with the serum instead of killing him and cures him instead. So boom, the lesson was learned and he's better. So
lesson learned.
So meanwhile, since the spell got released in that explosion, Doctor Strange is trying to close the dimensional gaps that are open in the sky. And those visuals are really cool, by the way. It's all like purpley and reminds me of like that like otherworldly place in Loki with where Kang is and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just reminds me of
the
between dimension space.
Kang.
So like in the new Rockstars breakdown, they call it like you definitely see a guy with a staff, right? And New Rockstars called it like that hunter character that's in the Amazing Spider-Man TV show. I don't remember his name.
Oh, that wasn't the one I was thinking of.
That's what they called him that. But I remember seeing somebody with a staff and with like a headdress that I thought looks like Kang the Conqueror from the comics. And like I thought Kang was in there, and like I know obviously most of the outlines that you're supposed to see in this like interdimensional tears in the sky are supposed to be Spider-Man villains, but I thought one of them was Kang for sure. Like you definitely saw Rhino, and I definitely saw, I don't know, some other people, but I thought it was Kang the Conqueror for sure. But I could be wrong. So anyways, Strange is struggling to keep them from coming through.
I swear I saw somebody from Prometheus in that scene.
Prometheus? The alien movie? Oh my God. So there's a fairly long, drawn-out segment where Doctor Strange is holding them closed, and Tom Holland's like, hey, look, like, how am I going to make this better? Like, let's just change the spell to make it so that nobody at all remembers me, and that would fix everything. And Doctor Strange is like, are you sure you want to do that? And he's like, yep, we're doing it. So he goes around, says his goodbyes to everybody, because obviously once that spell is cast, the two other Spider-Mans are going to go back. All the villains are going back. but then also Ned and MJ are not going to remember him. So he has this really touching goodbye.
Can I ask you a question? Was it me, or did he spend more time with the other two Spider-Mans than he did with MJ?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
That was for the fans.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, they can't. I thought the amount of time they spent with MJ was fine. It was adequate.
Well, it was enough for, I love you. Save it for later.
Yeah, so she gives him the, look, I love you. And then before he says it back, she goes, no, tell me when you find me again later. And then obviously, he doesn't later. But so I think that was really touching. I thought that was nicely done. I didn't think it was overly drawn out, but it took enough time. Like they spent a good chunk of time with the two other Spider-Men. They spent a little bit with Ned, which I think you don't need a lot with Ned. Then they spent a good chunk of time with him and MJ. I think this movie did a good job of like overall like time allocation to emotional pieces. Sometimes I feel like movies spend too much time on the romantic piece and it can be drawn out, and I feel like it's cheesy, and I'm like, all right, come on, move along. But I didn't think so with this. I thought they did a good job there. But then so they cast the spell, and nobody knows who Peter Parker is at all. No Happy, no Ned, no MJ, nobody. Peter ends up going and finding MJ and Ned in the cafe that MJ works at, and they have this really interesting interaction that we've been talking about, where Peter sees them, sort of orders a coffee, and there's lots of like long glances at each other where like MJ kind of recognizes him but kind of doesn't, and she's still wearing the broken Black Dahlia necklace that he got her in Far From Home when they were abroad. So that whole scene was interesting. He's about to say, like, he has this pre-planned like speech, like, hey, you and I were together, blah blah blah, like explaining the backstory to MJ, and then she like brushes her hair over her ear and reveals like she has a band-aid on her forehead from where she got hurt,
and he immediately thinks like, fuck, I did that.
Yeah, he's like, I did that, I hurt her. It's like, she's happy and she's safe. It's like, I don't want to drag her back into my stuff.
And it was the same way how in the other movies, like in Toby had to kick MJ to the curb because she couldn't be tied to him.
Right. But I thought it was cool. That whole scene was really cool because of how they did it. Like, he goes in there and there's almost zero dialogue. Like, it's mostly looks and like short interactions of like cashier and customer. But then like it's facial acting, it's body language of like of Tom Holland being Peter Parker. He like, crumples up the note, puts it back in his pocket after you see the Band-Aid. And you get the whole message of like, basically the message is, I can't bring her back into my life because I will hurt her and it puts her in danger. I'd rather her be safe and know that she's safe, not with me, than put her in danger and be with me. So he doesn't try to like bring her back. Then, which I thought, and all of that's done with no dialogue, basically. And I thought that was really cool too. Here
again, another piece of him maturing,
right,
as Spider-Man in life. I mean, it just reinforces what I was trying to say earlier, is that he's seeing now it's more than just him, that high school kid or whatever. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's saying like, okay, I'm going to step back. Doesn't mean he's done.
Yeah.
But he's going to do it in a more methodical way, I think, in the future, which I think is pretty cool.
Agreed. So cutting to the future, we see Ned and MJ end up, while he's there, he sees them reading their MIT acceptance letters and is pumped about that, then ends up leaving them alone. He goes and visits Aunt May's grave, where he finds Happy Hogan there. And Happy, of course, does not recognize Peter, so they sort of chat about how how big of a loss it was to lose Aunt May. And Happy asks Peter how he knew her, and he's like, oh, through Spider-Man. But I thought that was interesting. And then Happy compares the loss of Aunt May to the loss of Tony Stark. And like, when he says it, he doesn't say that directly, but it's the loss of my I forget how he goes a roundabout way of describing him. And it's kind of cool because the audience knows that they both can know about that loss and both felt that loss similarly. But like in the moment, not like Happy doesn't know that Peter feels that other loss too.
Right.
So it's a cool, like, they're bonding, but only one of the characters knows it. Like they're able to empathize with each other about both of those giant losses in their lives, which is cool. But the movie sort of wraps up with, after that scene, Peter's moving into his new apartment, which is, pretty barren and cheap looking, which probably like $3,000 a month considering it's in New York City. And he's got his own apartment. He puts down his Palpatine Lego figure shooting lightning, and he's got a GED book because he has no academic records anymore because no one remembers who Peter Parker is.
Oh, see, you just put the light into the tunnel for
including all the schools. So he has no academic records. So he's got to pass the GED.
Easter egg.
It is, yeah. So he's got to, and then later it shows him swinging. He jumps off the roof in his new and improved Spider-Man costume,
which is just cloth.
Yeah, it's just cloth because he made it, and it's
because he doesn't know Tony Stark, so he doesn't have the Iron Spider suit.
Right, he doesn't have any of that stuff. So he's got way brighter colors, and then the credits go. Boop. End of the movie.
Right. And that is the opening to the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, where he's going to be swinging through in his new costume.
Right.
But do you want to talk about the...
So the first post-credit scene...
it shows Eddie Brock. What's his name? Fuck. It's Tom something.
Venom.
Who
it's Eddie Brock.
Tom Hardy. Thank you. Thank you, Marissa. Tom Hardy's Venom sitting in a bar in Mexico, which is where we left him, or some Spanish tropical area. I'm assuming
he hawks a loogie.
So he's talking to the bartender, who speaks like 90% good English, but his vocabulary is tough. And he's like trying to explain, there's a bunch of superheroes. Some of them are aliens. Some of them are kind of gods, like Thor. And then Eddie Brock is like not having it, and Venom in his head is like, yeah, dude, I told you there's all kinds of crazy shit that you don't know about. And Eddie Brock's like, one more margarita, but then also I want to revisit the superheroes thing. And the bartender's completely sick of it. And then he gets warped back into his own.
Without paying.
Yeah, he's like, all right, can you pay your tab? Because you're hammered. And then he gets warped back to his own universe. But what's left behind is a loogie, like you're saying, that's all black, and that's a piece of Venom. So the Venom symbiote is staying in the MCU. Meanwhile, the Eddie Brock character goes back to where he came from. So that's a little Easter egg that Venom is going to be in the main MCU story, and we don't know who he's going to infect.
Flash.
But it could be Flash Thompson, like we talked about. Which is weird because, like, I feel like that actor is like dorky.
That's the point.
Yeah,
and Venom's going to make him dope.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I did like how the second credit scene was a movie trailer.
Yeah. So then we have, the first chunk of credits is like animated and
stay. If you're at the movies, sit there through the credits.
Yeah,
it's well worth it.
Yeah, you get a full. You've got, I don't know, a little bit of time for the animated credits. The first scene, which is quick, and it's this. Then at the end of all of the credits, it's the entire Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness trailer, which is like over 2 minutes, I think. And it shows all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't want to go through that because that's like a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, I want to wait a little while for that because I think there's going to be a lot to say to it.
Yeah. But like, Wanda gets pulled in.
Wanda.
For that? Yeah.
Sure. Wanda. I think Scarlet Witch is going to be the bad guy.
I think she could easily be an anti-hero figure and be like with them, then against them, then with them. And because like that House of M comic storyline is not done it's not completed through WandaVision.
No.
I feel like that's the first half. I feel like we're going to see more of that in this movie and maybe more too. But because Wanda's a complicated character, man. She's cool.
She's searching for her kids.
Yeah. So, Stormin Norman, where can people find you?
Nowhere.
The next episode of Working Class Nerds.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of
Working Class Nerds.